Good morning and welcome to Trail Grazers, where we focus on great foods for the trail. Before we get started with today's video, I just have a couple of announcements. First of all, I just wanted to call your attention to this little poster that I have up here. Over on Rose Red, about 6 months ago, we started a series of, they're about 1-hour classes. You know, Jim and I are both retired professors, and we love to teach, and it was hard for both of us to give up that part of our lives. But thankfully for our 2 YouTube channels, we're able to continue with teaching. Now, we have designed these classes more around the way things might be presented in a university classroom. And they are longer videos. They last about an hour. And so far we have done 6 of them. We do about one a month on average. And we take suggestions from our audience to see what they would like to have a class on. And they're free. These are free classes. So I just thought I would run down the list in case any of these are of interest to you. Apple pie from scratch, success with biscuits, basic menu planning, making and preserving cream soups, safely adjusting tested recipes. Those are tested recipes for canning. And then sprouting wheat for flour and bread. That last one just went up yesterday. And actually it is probably the most favorite one that Jim and I have done. It was really a joint effort between the 2 of us, and we just had, after so many trials of getting started, we just had amazing success. So those are the classes. If you're interested, you can pop over to Rose Red Homestead, click on playlists, and the playlist is titled RRH Classes, and there are 6 of them there. Now we have a little bit of news about Blue, our side-by-side. We got Blue out of the garage yesterday and loaded it up in our trailer, took it off to the dealership. We have just exceeded a little bit the first mileage marker where we needed to take it in to get its first checkup, its well baby checkup. And so it's at the shop, and we're getting so excited to get back out in Blue again. We had one really successful winter car trip, and boy, did we learn a lot. We had 2 scheduled, but I had a root canal that interrupted that. So I'm not sure that we will be going out on another winter car trip, but we might. I don't know. But in any case, one of the things that we learned is what has led to today's video, which is emergency food for our car trips, when we take road trips. When we're in our trailer, I have backup food. If we're gone for 4 days, for instance, I have menus and everything that we need to prepare meals for 4 days. And then we have some backup meals that we always carry with us in case we have any kind of an emergency. When we purchased that trailer, we found it down in Phoenix, which is about 7 hours away. And as we were pulling it home for the very first time, and of course it didn't have anything in it, it was just the trailer, we were on a stretch of highway that the traffic was stopped dead. There was a terrible accident up ahead, and we couldn't go to the right, we couldn't go to the left, we couldn't back up and turn around and go back the other way. It was miles. We were actually out on the Navajo reservation, and there just wasn't any other way. We were stuck. And we were stuck there for about, what, Jim, was it about 3 or 4 hours?
Something like that.
And we had nothing in that trailer. And because we thought it was just going to be a quick trip, we really didn't take much extra. We had our little snack pack, and of course we had water, but that is about it. And so it is situations like that and the things that could be worse that we have realized that as we take car trips, we need to have, and we do have in our car our emergency kits, which I think we have 1 MRE in there that would feed both of us. But we decided to expand that a little bit, and I'm going to show you today what I have put together. In this little bin right here, we have meals for 3 days. Now, most of the food in here, we're going to unpack it in just a minute, most of it is freeze-dried, which is going to require water. So if we're stuck in the middle of nowhere like that for an extended period of time, where are we going to get the water, and how are we going to heat it up so that we can have some hot food if necessary? And while it isn't totally necessary to have food hot, or to have the water hot as we reconstitute our freeze-dried foods. It just makes for a bit of comfort. So we've planned for that as well. And we'll be showing you those things. So I'm going to set these things over to the side and we will revisit them in just a moment. And we're going to open up this bin. So in the bin, I have 3 cards. And these cards have, each of them has a 1-day menu on it, what I have planned in here to have ready for 3 days. So I'm just going to take everything out and then we will go through it. So I have some Mylar bags. And I have some vacuum sealed food. I have soup in a jar. I have some food enclosed in these little plastic containers. So this is our food for 3 days. So let's get it organized. Several months ago, I put up several meals in these Mylar bags, and these are going to be really handy in carrying with us for our 3 days of emergency food. So for day 1, we have eggs, and these are our freeze-dried scrambled eggs that have peppers and onions and mushrooms and things in them like that. This is a 2-day supply for quite a bit when they are reconstituted, so I'll use half for this breakfast and half over here. And everything that we have here has already been taste tested. It would be a disaster to count on these things and then without ever having reconstituted them and tried them out. And then here are hash browns. And I think I've got hash browns. This is enough for two meals of hash browns as well. So these would be reconstituted, and then we would need to have a way to cook them, and we do. So that's for day 1, and then I'm going to move these over here. Also, I have fruit, and fruit will be throughout all 3 days. And this is just a collection of freeze-dried fruits. We have just recently done one where these are the pears and apricots that we showed in a video here very recently. This is minestrone soup, so this would need to be reconstituted. So we'll need water and a pot to do that in. And then here's just a little snack pack. This has 2 sleeves of crackers that we would use for soups. And then it has some fig bars and some, what are these called? Cookies. Yeah, we call them cookies, but they're Belvita. So we have Belvita. And then for supper, this is potatoes and sirloin gravy. The sirloin gravy mix has chunks of sirloin in it, and this serves 2. So this would be our dinner. Now, none of these meals are huge meals. There's not a 17-course dinner by any stretch of the imagination, but it is enough food that it would keep us nourished for 3 days if necessary. For day 2, I have some of these instant rolled cereal packets for us, and we would just put these in a bowl and add boiling water, and in 5 minutes they're ready to go. And I even have a little container of honey for Jim because that's what he likes to have on his cereal. And then for lunch, I have some meat sauce, some of my home canned meat sauce that we freeze dried. So it's in chunks, square chunks, along with some pasta. The pasta is fast pasta. And in a minute, we'll do fast beans as well. The fast pasta and fast beans, I cooked completely and thoroughly, and then put them back in either the dehydrator or the freeze dryer to dry them. And it makes them almost instant. So that's what's in here. And then for dinner, I have 2 servings of turkey tetrazzini. And this is really yummy. And these servings are nice size. So we would rehydrate these and then heat them. For day 3, eggs, sausage. Oh, no, those stay over there. So here's eggs and sausage. This sausage is raw. And so I would need to set it on a plate that I have water on the plate so that it can rehydrate overnight, and then these sausage patties would be ready for us to fry up along with our eggs for a morning breakfast. And then for lunch, I have one of my meals in a jar. And while I don't like carrying things in glass, this inside the bin is surrounded by all of these plastic packages, so I think that it's okay. But these are fast beans, and here's the seasoning packet. Here's a dehydrated tomato that goes in. This was put in this jar in December of 2021, and so it is more than 2 years old. Still just perfectly fine. And it would take about, 10 minutes of simmering, maybe 15, to get this soup all ready to go. And this, we would probably have leftovers. And then for supper, we would have some of our beef stew. And we have rehydrated and reconstituted this beef stew before. I think we maybe even did it on camera. But this is plenty of beef stew for a hearty meal for Jim and me. So this is basically our food. Now, how are we going to prepare it? Well, since these are car emergency meals, we would have with us our kitchen suitcase. And we have just recently done videos on that kitchen bag, and it has the things in there that we would need to prepare. We carry our Bluetti with us, which is a power station. And in our suitcase, I have an electric tea kettle. And so that would be one way that we could heat water, is by plugging that into the Bluetti. But it is always good to have redundancy systems. And so these are some other options that we have. So first of all, we have had this one for years. And we used to carry this with us over the past 20 years when we would take our previous four-wheelers out. And we have had many a lunch up in the mountains with this little setup. And so we call this the Raptor. So here is fuel, and I have an extra fuel packed elsewhere in our emergency stuff. And then this is what is our little Raptor stove. And so it unfolds like this, screws right on the top, and then this pan fits very nicely on the top. We've had hot dogs in this, we've had soups, we've had all kinds of things. So this is a cooking setup that we could use to do some of our breakfast things over here. So it would heat water, or we could use this as a fry pan or a pot for boiling soups. So that's one setup that we have. And of course, we're very familiar with this because we have used it over the past 20 years. So all put back together, and this is extremely compact. So this would be a good option for us to carry with us in our emergency food. Now, this is another thing that we have used, not as often as the other one, but we have used this as well. And this is a Kelly kettle. This is really a nifty little thing. So this is completely empty in the middle, and yet it has this internal compartment right here that you can fill with water. So if I put water in here, it fills up this outside compartment that surrounds that inner core. And I can heat water to a boiling in about 5 minutes. The advantage to this is that it uses whatever you can find. It uses leaves or twigs, or you can use charcoal with it if you've got it. And so this is something that we could use off to the side of the road and just collect whatever biomass we might find there. And then it also has the option of a little cook set as well. So this just goes right down in here, and then this can be used as a frying pan up here, or it can be used to warm soup or whatever up here, or it can even be used as a griddle like that. So this is very versatile as well. So I think it would, whether we would plan to take this one or this one as our backup to our Bluetti would really depend on where it is we were going to be. If we were going to be traveling in civilization all along the way, it would probably be this one. If we were going to be traveling through the Navajo Indian Reservation like we often do, in many of our trips, we go that direction where it's just wide open spaces with nothing, then this one might be the best one. Or we just might put both in. Now, a recent addition to our camping stuff is this little Stanley set. Now, this does not have a heat source. It is just a nice pot. And so here's the pot, and it's for 4. So this is a nice large pot, which is great. And then it has these 4 bowls with what are these called?
Sporks.
Sporks. Yes, a spoon fork. And so this would be handy to have with us as well. And it has one that you put together for a serving spoon. So this is in our, I think, I've put this one, I'll double check, but I think this is in our Amazon store. I know that the Kelly kettle is in our Amazon store for off-grid cooking. So we're pretty well set up for options for boiling water and reconstituting our freeze-dried food. We're pretty well supplied with our freeze-dried food. So it was really a pleasure to just be able to go shopping out in our freeze-dryer lab and then just find all of these foods and put an emergency food pack together for our car trips. So I hope this has given you some ideas. Please share your ideas. And we should be back out on the road here pretty quickly with, we can't de-winterize our trailer until early May. But between now and then, we will be taking some trips with Blue that we will invite you along. In fact, one of our trips, I think we might go back to Coral Pink Sand Dunes and do some riding on the dunes. And if we do that, we'll take you with us as well. So thanks for being with us. Share your adventures with us, and we will see you again next week for another video.